Here in this video, I am actually showing you how to paint a ceiling. This is the ceiling in a basement, and as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm going around the edge of the room and am cutting in, or I'm taking a brush and cutting in around the edges so that way I can roll. At this point, I am beginning to roll and will actually roll around the edges of the room. I apologize for the squeaky roller. You're going to hear that throughout this video. And that pounding noise is just my roller in the pan. It makes a little bit of noise. Now the reason for me rolling around the edges like this is to create a barrier, and I will explain that in the actual video in just a moment. But it just helps me be able to roll the entire ceiling without having to worry about getting to the edges, and it just makes the whole process a little bit easier. As you can see, there is not much of a difference. The ceiling is in pretty good shape, but we had patched an area and it just needed a fresh coat over everything. And so really not much of a change in color, primarily just making it fresh and new before we paint the walls. This roller sounds like my neck when I wake up in the morning and start moving it back and forth. So I'm probably at the bottom of the screen, but what I'm doing now is from over here to over here, I've been working around the edges, and I'll actually do that around the whole room. And then I'll take my brush and I'll just wipe the corners, make sure I got the paint in there, and also to make sure there's no drips coming down on the wall. But I'll do that around the whole room. But instead of you watching it in real time, I'm gonna speed it up into time lapse. So you're not sitting here for the next 20 minutes watching me roll methodically. Man, I wish I could paint this fast in real time, but again, like I just explained in the video, I'm just working around the edges with a roller, and then we'll go back with a brush to catch any drips that might be on the edges. Alright, so I'm just showing you what I just finished. Basically what I did is I rolled a strip about that wide all the way around the edges, and then I went around with a brush and, like I had explained before, brushed out any drips, made sure the corners were all filled in. Now the reason I do that around the entire room, including things like the fan and the lights, is because when I go to roll the bulk of the ceiling, the main areas, I don't want to have to worry about the edges and hitting stuff that I haven't masked off. So basically the principle is, when I get to doing the walls, I'll take a brush and I'll cut in these edges along the trim and everywhere, and then I'll come back and roll. Well, that's the same thing I'm doing on the ceiling, and you can kind of see very slightly the transition of the new paint to the old paint right there. Just a shade different. The reason we're painting is because we had to go through and patch where some drywall had been replaced with some new texturing, and so we had to go ahead and just paint the ceiling to make it all uniform. So anyway, that's what I'm about to do. Got the edges done, so now I'm about to roll the bulk of the ceiling, and I'm going to turn it back to time lapse. So again, you're not sitting there watching me in regular time for 15-20 minutes. So this is actually my favorite part of painting a ceiling. It goes the fastest. It's for me, it's the easiest, but just getting the whole ceiling rolled. It's a lot of fun, and this is where you see most of the transition take place. Well, if you want to work up a sweat, paint a decent sized ceiling like this. I just finished, and I think it turned out pretty well. Not much of a color change at all. Again, we mainly had to do it because of the patch that went in up there. That was our main reason for painting the whole thing, but it's done, and now we're ready to get all of these walls painted, get it all uniform, and we'll be finished.